Hi there, James from Brookfield Gardens here. So you're thinking about planting a citrus tree. Well, you're in luck because at the moment we've got a lovely range of citrus trees in the gardens. Big and small and many different varieties. But you're probably thinking to yourself, is the spot at home actually going to be applicable for a citrus tree? Well, I'm going to give you a few quick tips on how to know exactly if it's going to be a good spot and also how to get the most out of your fruit tree to make sure it establishes well for longevity. Firstly, if you're thinking about planting a citrus tree, or any fruit tree for that matter, always dig the hole. Dig the hole in the spot you're thinking of planting. It doesn't need to be that big, only about 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. From there, I'd recommend filling that hole up with water and actually making a little bit of a dam. We should actually watch how quickly that water escapes that hole. If it doesn't escape that hole quickly, then you have a very high clay content. Now, strictly speaking, there aren't a lot of fruit trees that will grow well in very, very clay soils. So you will need to amend that soil quite significantly. Building soil up is one way you can do that, but unfortunately, if that is not an option, then that particular spot may not be applicable. So you've discovered that that planting hole is fine and free draining. You can go about the business of choosing a citrus tree and planting. Here we have a Tahitian lime, just in a little 5-litre container. This would be an ideal size for growing at home, particularly for a novice gardener. Now, we don't need to dig the hole any deeper than what we've got at home, but if you do think that the soil is quite poor, it will need to be amended. I would recommend applying 2 products to improve that soil. One is the Active Grow. The Active Grow is available here in the gardens in 30-litre bags, and it is a lovely compost and manure mix. It is also a really, really good product at conditioning the soil and slowly releasing goodness to the plant. As well as compost, I would also recommend the Brookfield Garden Food. This is a pelletized chicken manure and blood and bone mix. Now, you can be quite generous with this because it's not too strong. And this is the kind of fertilizer you'd be using to feed your citrus tree on a regular basis. Once you've amended the garden soil in that hole, I would think about soaking your citrus tree in an emulsion of either seaweed or fish emulsion, or ideally both. A good way of soaking it is by applying a product like this, Triple Boost. This has fish, seaweed and worm juice in it, which is a really good product in ensuring that the plant is well fed, as well as helps overcome the transplant shock. Once all the bubbles come to the surface, after being soaked, it can be taken out of that container and planted up. From there, we backfill with that lovely, lovely, lovely Active Grow compost and garden soil mix. This will ensure that your citrus tree or fruit tree has everything it needs. Last but not least, to hold in the moisture and to ensure that there's no weeds growing up in competition of your citrus tree, I'd recommend applying a little bit of sugarcane mulch. Doesn't have to be much, but just around the base of the plant to hold in that goodness. Ensuring that we don't mulch too thickly is very, very important. If we mulch more than an inch, then that'll actually stop water from getting into that planting hole and it'll be very, very counterproductive. So there you have it. We have a lovely range of citrus trees in the gardens at the moment. So if you're interested in planting a citrus tree at home or a fruit tree, come on down and talk to our staff. We'd be happy to help you. And don't forget, check that planting hole first. And if you do think that hole is good, make sure you add plenty of compost, plenty of fertilizer, water in well, and don't over mulch. Thank you.